Israel is a tiny country with a population of just 8.5 million, yet it ranks among the top arms exporters in the world. How did that happen? Well, it's no secret that Palestine is the site of grave human rights violations by Israel. But it's about more than just Palestine. What Israel does to Palestinians has far-reaching consequences that touch every corner of the globe. You see, on top of being occupied, colonized territory, Palestine is Israel's personal laboratory for testing, refining, and showcasing methods and weapons of domination and control. Easy access to a captive and disenfranchised Palestinian population to experiment on has given rise to a booming homeland security industry in Israel that repackages occupation-style repression for use on marginalized populations in other parts of the world. It allows Israeli arms producers to market their products as battle-tested and combat-proven, coveted labels that give Israel a competitive edge in the international arms trade. This has been especially lucrative for Israel in the post-9/11 era. Israeli arms sales have risen from $2 billion annually in 2002 to over $9 billion in 2017. The most extreme version of the laboratory dynamic is the Gaza Strip, which functions as an open-air testing ground for weapons of mass destruction. Gaza is home to nearly 2 million Palestinians, many of them refugees and the descendants of refugees who were forced out of their homes in 1948. Gaza is basically an open-air prison surrounded by an air, sea, and land blockade. This makes it a convenient laboratory for Israel's most destructive weapons. In the summer of 2014, Israel launched a brutal 51-day bombing campaign in Gaza that killed over 2,000 Palestinians, including more than 500 children. Less than a month after the massacre, Israel held its annual drone expo featuring many systems that had been used for the first time during the 2014 Gaza onslaught.
This was used with our systems. That video was taken by this system right here. So it works. Yeah. Our system have been proven. We call it battlefield proven.
Battlefield proven. So there's like a lot of pride in that statement.
There is, for sure.
Elbit Systems is Israel's largest military technology firm and one of Israel's leading producers of drones. Israeli military firms like Elbit use each new war on Gaza as an opportunity to expedite the testing and release of their weapons in front of international buyers. This has helped make Israel the world's #1 exporter in drone technology. Since 1985, Israel has supplied 60.7% of the world's drones to at least 50 different countries. That's quite an achievement for a country no bigger than New Jersey. It's the same pattern with Israeli border technology. In 2014, Elbit Systems won a $145 million contract to build a virtual wall of surveillance towers along the Arizona-Mexico border, the same sort of technology used at the illegal separation wall Israel built in the West Bank. Trump has since tapped an Israeli company to build a prototype for the border wall he hopes to build. It's not just Israeli equipment that's exported around the world, but also Israeli methods. Under the cover of counterterrorism training, nearly every major U.S. policing agency, from local police departments to ICE to the FBI, has traveled to Israel for lessons in occupation enforcement, crowd control, use of force, media spin, and Islamic fundamentalism. These police exchanges are organized by pro-Israel groups like the Anti-Defamation League and the American Jewish Committee's Project Interchange. The police officers who participate are taking the lessons they learned in Israel back to the United States, according to the ADL. And there are concrete examples of them doing just that. The NYPD's demographic unit that used to spy on Muslims was modeled in part on how Israeli authorities operate in the occupied West Bank. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio may have disbanded the unit, but the NYPD relationship with Israel is still running strong. So strong that the Israeli NYPD has a branch stationed in Israel. 3 months after Ferguson, Missouri erupted in protest in response to the police killing of Michael Brown, the St. Louis Police Department began stockpiling skunk spray. Skunk spray is a foul-smelling liquid developed by the Israeli police, and it's sprayed exclusively on Palestinian protesters, and sometimes on entire Palestinian neighborhoods. It emits a foul stench that has been described as a mix between rotting animal corpse, raw sewage, and feces. And the odor sticks to walls, clothing, hair, and skin for days and is impossible to wash away. Skunk spray hasn't been used on U.S. soil yet, but other U.S. police departments are trying to get their hands on it. Deadly and racist police violence in the U.S. is bad enough as it is. Adding Israeli-style repression to that already dangerous mix will only make things worse. That's why activists are pushing for an end to U.S.-Israeli police collaboration. Here's how the former mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, responded to their demands.
I happen to believe that the Israeli police department has some of the best counterterrorism techniques in the world, and it benefits our police department from that long-standing relationship.
Activists in Durham, North Carolina had more success.
In recent weeks, a petition has been circulating in Durham asking the city council to condemn those police exchanges. Tonight, the group behind the petition is claiming victory.
Durham has become the first city in the U.S. to ban police exchanges in Israel, and activists in other parts of the country plan to push for similar measures. But in the meantime, as long as Israel's economy is shaped by the subjugation of Palestinians, it will continue to function as a factory for cutting-edge repression technology that sustains and reinforces racism, inequality, and war around the globe. In many ways, what Israel does to Palestinians is a glimpse into the future of what's to come for the most vulnerable and marginalized among us, from the killing fields of Gaza to the tear gas streets of Ferguson and beyond, which makes the battle for justice in Palestine a global one.